Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. By viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, March 2nd. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. On the heels of President Biden's State of the Union address, Russian President Vladimir Putin is stepping up his attack on Ukraine. The casualty count tonight is climbing as Ukraine is begging the West to stop the onslaught. Our coverage begins with reporter Chris Nguyen.
Anguish and devastation as Russia expands its assault on key Ukrainian cities.
What matters?
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pleading for more international assistance, but staying resilient.
We've hardly slept for 7 nights. Or we sleep, but anxiously.
Ukraine's state emergency service says more than 2,000 Ukrainian civilians have so far been killed during the ongoing Russian invasion. More than 800,000 refugees have fled the country, according to the United Nations.
We've seen videos of Russian forces moving exceptionally lethal weaponry into Ukraine, which has no place on the battlefield. That includes cluster munitions and vacuum bombs, which are banned under the Geneva Convention.
Across Ukraine, scenes of heroism as residents try to defend their country. This video showing hundreds of people blocking Russian forces from accessing a nuclear power plant in southeastern Ukraine.
They will destroy us, and we are saying that we are ready to fight. Just keep helping us protect to hit Russian missiles, which are destroying our hospitals and our kindergartens, our schools, and protect the sky.
As the U.S. looks for more ways to punish Russia, President Joe Biden reiterated that sanctioning Russian oil exports remained a possibility.
Nothing is off the table.
Chris Wynn, KPBS News.
Much of President Biden's first State of the Union address focused on Ukraine. KPBS reporter Kitty Alvarado has reactions from San Diegans.
The President of the United States.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine took center stage at President Joe Biden's first State of the Union address on Tuesday night.
Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated.
Those in attendance showed solidarity by wearing the colors of Ukraine and holding the country's flag.
Thank you.
The ambassador of Ukraine sat next to the First Lady and got a warm welcome from both sides of the aisle. Biden had tough words for the Russian president and announced additional sanctions on Russia, including American airspace would be closed off to Russian airlines and a crackdown on Russian oligarchs in America.
We're coming for you, ill-begotten gains.
While he committed aid and support, he made it clear he would not send American troops to fight on Ukrainian soil.
We stand with you.
Nadia Haywas, who lives in San Diego County but has roots and loved ones in Ukraine, paid close attention to the address. She says her loved ones are staying in Ukraine to fight.
And I thank them and I bless them, all of the people who decided to stay and fight for their country.
While she appreciated the bipartisan support, aid, and sanctions, she says they're not enough.
Ukraine is fighting this war for all of Europe. It's not fair. All of Ukraine is grateful for all the military support, but I think it's going to need some more personnel.
Corinne Hoare, a professor at the University of San Diego, who is an expert in White House communication, says the president's message on Ukraine hit the mark.
To show strength, to show resolve, and there is strength not only here in the U.S., but among our NATO allies.
But I want you to know We're going to be okay.
I thought that was a really powerful statement to make.
Only one member of San Diego's congressional delegation was critical of the speech. On social media, Republican Congressman Darrell Issa criticized the president's border policy, military vaccine mandates, and overspending. But on the other side of the aisle,
President Biden did an amazing job of meeting the American people in this moment.
Democratic Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs says being there was special, and you could feel the bipartisan unity that hadn't been felt in a long time.
There was so much energy and excitement in the room tonight, and a real sense of unity.
That freedom will always triumph over tyranny.
Kitty Alvarado, KPBS News.
President Biden called community colleges America's best-kept secret in his address. KPBS education reporter MG Perez was on campus at Mesa College this morning for reaction as students return to in-person learning.
Medium? Thank you. Medium? How about you? A Mesa College t-shirt is one of the free giveaways at this reorientation session. Students are back, getting some reminders of what it's like to be in a classroom again, or for the first time on this campus. Carissa Martinez finished high school online and started Mesa classes in a Zoom room.
Schooling ended in junior year, and then coming to freshman year in college, it was such a big difference for me, having to adjust to going online. And I'm not really a tech person. There are reorientations happening at all the San Diego Community College District schools this week. Administrators and student ambassadors are not only giving directions, they are offering a reminder of resources too. Mesa College has The Stand on campus, which is a food pantry, clothing closet, and counseling center to help students make ends meet. College carries high costs no matter where a student attends. That's why there is hope here that President Biden will keep a campaign promise to forgive college loan debt.
The financial burden will increase, and so having that option, I'd feel less stressed and I'd feel more liberty in being able to take other courses that I want to take and not feel so restricted.
I totally support forgiving student loans.
Alberto Lizarraga's education plans include medical school. This means he's in store for plenty of learning and financial liability.
Those student loans actually do put in some pressure on a student's life, which may affect the way they can succeed academically. So it would definitely just relieve me in a lot of pressure and make me feel more supported.
Biden did not mention student loan forgiveness. He did call for increasing Pell Grants and support for historically black colleges and universities.
It's the difficult moments in life that make us stronger. So I believe some of the positive outcomes of COVID will be the resilience that our students would have developed as a result of living through the past couple of years.
Are you hopeful? Yes, I am. Very hopeful.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. Have a great day. Thank you, guys.
Reorientation to a place that just might be a little bit like normal again. MG Perez, KPBS News.
With masks set to come off in schools across California next week, new research shows protection for children provided by COVID vaccines may have waned during the Omicron wave. A new CDC study shows fully vaccinated kids ages 5 to 11 who got COVID were 46% less likely to go to the emergency room or urgent care as compared to unvaccinated children. Dr. Eric Topol, director of the Scripps Research Translational Institute, says the results are not surprising considering Omicron's ability to evade immune systems.
We have to change what we expect from vaccines, which is protect from those infections getting severe, leading for children or any person to wind up in the hospital. And they work well for that.
Overall, new COVID cases among children continue their decline following the trend nationwide. But the American Academy of Pediatrics says about 100,000 children are still getting infected every week. It's what Padres fans have been fearing for weeks, and now it's official. The 2022 Major League Baseball season will not start on time. KPBS reporter John Carroll says fans and business owners who rely on games at Petco are crying foul.
The 2-2. Fernando, a high fly ball to deep left.
The sights and sounds Padres fans and fans of every major league team had been longing for. Sights and sounds that were supposed to begin at Petco on March 31st. Not now. This from Padres chairman and owner Peter Seidler on the team's Facebook page. We are working to build a consistently winning team that you deserve, and I cannot wait to be together with you again at Petco Park. Seidler going on to say the team needs fans' support. Scrolling down shows that support is tenuous. A sample from the hundreds of comments shows fans are upset with owners and players. Instead of addressing the fans, maybe you should address the other owners and make sure all of you realize fans don't need baseball. Baseball needs fans. I'm mad at these guys, both sides. At this time, I don't care if there's a season or not. Way to go. Society hasn't had enough going on with COVID and Putin, but I hope you guys work out how many Ferraris and yachts you can each have. And sadly, the fans are the real losers here. Overpriced players and greedy ownership have made it impossible for a lot of fans and families to attend a game. Here at Petco, park maintenance continues. They just resodded the lawns on the north side of the park, and they're keeping things nice and clean. But business owners like Brant Crenshaw here at Social Tap say they're looking down the barrel of a disaster.
It's pretty crushing. We're all pretty deflated around here right now.
Like the fans on Facebook, Crenshaw says there's plenty of blame to go around.
We got millionaires fighting billionaires over money.
As it stands now, the first two series of games, or 91 in total, are canceled. Crenshaw says that's all it takes to take the steam out of opening day.
People aren't going to be fired up to come to a new opening day that's a month or a week or 2 months later than what the normal buzz is on, April 1st opening day or March 31st this year. Like, it's not going to be the same.
Now, business owners like Crenshaw and fans wonder if baseball will ever be the same and whether it can survive a season delay that so far has no end in sight. John Carroll, KPBS News.
New rules are coming for street vendors in San Diego. As KPBS Speak City Heights reporter Jacob Ayer reports, some street cart operators say they haven't been able to provide their input on the plan.
The San Diego City Council's now approved legislation on street vending will regulate the time, place, and manner that street vendor businesses operate, including large cutbacks in popular tourist areas. Angela Herrera is a Chinese immigrant and a street vendor who started selling jewelry in Balboa Park 6 months ago after her other job was impacted by the pandemic.
During the COVID, I lost a lot of my last customers, and the vending just helped me pick up my life. And here's a lot of tourists. And when I do my jewelry, the people like my artwork.
Street vendors like Donald Bengal acknowledge the upcoming changes in San Diego will relieve vendor overcrowding and help with the enforcement of permitting and licensing. But he says losing low-cost food options like his family's hot dog and agua fresca stand could price out many park visitors and put stress on his livelihood.
So, it's I have a full-time job. It pays well, but it's not enough for this kind of inflation that's been built up through just to support my family. I got my son in the back, and we can't afford the child care that, to live a healthy life here in San Diego.
The council passed the ordinance after a meeting featuring lively voices from both sides on what's become a divisive issue. Councilmember Jennifer Campbell spearheaded the proposal and says it strikes a balance for all San Diegans.
This ordinance will help provide the appropriate support to vendors while promoting equitable access to our public spaces and protecting the public health and safety of our communities.
Herrera says there's a better solution for street vendors at Balboa Park.
If the park, they can give us a permanent place, of course we don't mind to pay a little bit fee. That's for us good too. If they can put us to the lottery system like a performance, we will love to have this system running because for us will be fair.
The proposal was adopted on an 8-1 vote, with Councilwoman Vivian Moreno voting no. The proposal will go into effect at the end of March if signed by Mayor Todd Gloria, as expected. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
For Catholics, Ash Wednesday is the beginning of the Lenten season, and this year it also gave parishioners a glimpse of what things looked like pre-pandemic. Like many churches, St. Rose of Lima Catholic Church in Chula Vista held the traditional Ash Wednesday Mass indoors, along with the distribution of ashes. The sign of the cross was marked by hand instead of by use of a cotton swab, as it was done last year because of COVID protocols.
as a community of faith for any parishioner to be able to come inside, especially on a cold morning, to be able to gather and feel the presence of people around them. So for me, it's a sign of hope.
In downtown, clergy for St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral offered ashes to go near City Hall, where people could walk up and get their ashes. The Carlsbad Flower Fields are open. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne shows us the positive economic impact the flowers will bring.
The Carlsbad Flower Fields have opened, and Fred Clark, the general manager, says he's excited to offer a colorful escape to visitors.
You come here and you can't help but have a smile on your face, feel like your cares and worries are lifted off, at least for a little bit, and then you get back to regular life.
Clark says last year's indoor COVID restrictions had people flooding the flower fields, and they expect the same, if not more, visitors this year. That's why they have made their tickets available online only. The flower fields are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and a time slot must be reserved in advance for entry.
1, 2.
But the biggest draw is the photo ops.
We have seen on Instagram pictures of the field and the flowers, and I think it looks like that's what we wanted to bring some outfits to take photos here.
Karina Bravo is visiting from Cancun. Her cousin Argy Ponce, an Oceanside resident, didn't hesitate to get tickets opening week.
I said, it's open, let's go now. Let's book and let's go before it's too late. And the weather? It's perfect.
It's a sign of springtime, the opening of the Carlsbad Flower Fields. And visitors from near and far come to take a look. And businesses feel the impact too, because they see a boost in business. Brett Schanzenbach with the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce says retailers look forward to the window of business the flower fields bring in.
80 million ranunculus, are going to be produced and distributed, and all the people who come for that. It's feeding our restaurants. It's feeding our local hotels. It's feeding, the retailers in the area. It really does drive quite a bit of activity here.
The flower fields are open until Mother's Day. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
And from the beauty of the flower fields to the frightening sight of fire, CAL FIRE San Diego has sent air resources to help crews battling a 400-acre blaze in the Cleveland National Forest in Orange County. It's called the Gym Fire, and it's being fought by land and by air. Forest Service officials also say they're hoping the snow in the area will help keep it from spreading. The news is not good when it comes to California's drought. A new survey found the snowpack in the mountains is only 63% of average, and that means unless a lot of snow falls quickly, it's going to be a dry summer.
Past forecasting efforts have relied on historical patterns that no longer apply given our current changed climate conditions.
We are nearing the end of the wet season and entering year 3 of the current drought, but there is some rain in our forecast. Here's meteorologist Jessica Pash.
Our next storm is pressing south, and the steadiest of the rain will likely arrive here in Southern California Thursday night into Friday. We'll see a cooling trend along with that, and the possibility of a little bit of mountain snow shower activity is going to be likely here. So tonight, temperatures get back down into the mid-40s in Oceanside, Escondido, getting down to about 40 degrees in Ramona. San Diego, overnight temperatures still in the upper 50s, so not too bad for us over there. And as we head into your Thursday, we're looking at highs in the low 70s from Escondido to Ramona. San Diego right around 70 degrees. Borrego Springs mid 80s. But again, it's likely the last day of the warmth, and then temperatures really tumble as we head into your Friday. All that has to do with this storm, and the moisture is going to be pressing southward along with it. We're looking at snow across much of the Sierra Nevada, and I think it's possible we get some snow into Southern California in the mountains there also. The one thing that this is definitely going to bring is some beneficial moisture really from Los Angeles all the way down into San Diego. It's not going to be a ton of rain. It's not going to be flooding rainfall. But we're looking at the possibility of maybe half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain. So near the coast, temperatures go from the upper 60s to about 70 degrees on Thursday, back into the low 60s Friday, 50s by the time we get into Saturday. And then the sunshine returns for the end of the weekend, and temperatures begin their trend upward again. Further inland, we go from the low 70s on Thursday and see the 50s Friday and Saturday with showers and and even a couple thunderstorms possible. And then temperatures rebound Sunday into Monday, more in the way of sunshine, and again, a warmer finish to the weekend. As we look into some of the mountains, we're looking at temperatures falling from the 50s into the 30s. And again, the possibility of snow and rain lingering all the way through the end of the weekend, and a nicer start to the next work week. Temps returning into the 40s on Monday with more in the way of sunshine. And in the deserts, temperatures here seeing a huge drop from the 80s into the low 60s. We'll see some rain there on Friday, some gusty winds on Saturday, and then nicer conditions as we close out the weekend and head into next week. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Jessica Pash.
Dr. Seuss's legacy of creature sketches and fun rhymes will be reimagined in a series of new books for kids. The new line of books will be written and illustrated by a diverse group of up-and-coming authors and artists, and they will include stories inspired by the author's never-before-seen illustrations from the archives at UCSD.
They're looking at reviving Dr. Seuss's legacy in some ways, but also renewing it. You know, the fact that they're embracing new authors and giving them an opportunity to shine and creating new works for, you know, a younger generation now.
A year ago, Dr. Seuss Enterprises stopped publishing 6 Dr. Seuss titles that were thought to contain racist and insensitive imagery. The first of the new books should be hitting bookstore shelves next year with the goal of 2 more books each year. Move over, Big Bird and Mr. Snuffleupagus. The world's largest puppet has been unveiled in Glendale, and it is a porcupine named Percy. The 2-story puppet was built in Jim Henson's famous creature shop. It has 2,000 quills and weighs more than a ton. He will be at the San Diego Zoo next for the grand opening of the new Children's Zoo Wildlife Explorers Base Camp on March 11th. Next week, La Jolla Playhouse hosts the world premiere of Bangin' It, a bangin' new musical. The play draws on competitive collegiate Bhangra, a dance style that mixes Indian and Western influences. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando goes behind the scenes with the Playhouse's creative team.
Intercollegiate Bhangra can be addictive.
And so I was trading like writing classes for tickets to the shows, and I would follow teams around to different states. And then when I met Mike, I took him to Basement Bhangra and we danced the night away.
Michael Liu and Rihanna Liu Mirza make a perfect couple.
Do you need B-roll of me gazing adoringly at Mike as he speaks?
They also make a successful playwriting team.
So for us, doing a Bhangra musical together makes so much sense because it's been part of our relationship. We love dance even though we can't do it at all. I think it's sort of like a fascination for us in terms of like, how can you move your body that way?
But the great thing about Bhangra is that it's accessible even to newcomers.
It's just really infectious, and there's something about when you hear that sound that you want to get dancing, and your shoulders start popping, you start nodding your head.
I found going to these intercollegiate Bhangra competitions so joyful, so like full of energy, so much begging to be staged and dramatized, and there was as much drama behind the stage as there was like on the stage.
What do you do with a dumpster fire, girls? Stand up.
Bhangra's buoyant and energetic beat drives the play Bangin' It, which focuses on Mary. Like the playwright, she's a young mixed-race woman.
So Mary connects through dance with her culture. As she grows, she has no other outlets. So when she gets to college, she finds that the Bhangra community makes her have a connection with her roots and her tradition.
Director Stafford Arima, who's biracial and binational, immediately connected with Mary's story.
We all know what it feels like to not quite fit in. And it doesn't matter if you're from the United States or from Canada or maybe you're from another country. It's a universal idea of how to find one's place, how to fit in. And this is a great story about a young college student trying to fit in and trying to find her place within not only the world of college and within her friends, but within herself.
And all of those kinds of questions in a college team's sort of echo chamber felt like it was ripe for marrying like a political, cultural inquiry to something that was just really joyous and that moved.
Bangin' It incorporates all of that kinetic energy into its movement, into its choreography, and tells the story through this extraordinary dance form called Bhangra.
Extraordinary and physically demanding.
Training for this show, we, especially with Mary, with our lead, Ariane Afser, we had her running every day and actually singing the numbers while she was running so that she could train for the show.
Rejuta Vedia did the choreography for the play.
The great thing about Bhangra is it's actually a cultural dance form versus a classical dance form, and most of the Indian cultural dance forms were built to bring communities together.
So there's a sense of inclusion that makes it feel accessible, like you're being invited to participate. And that's what the play hopes to do as well, to send a message of inclusivity on multiple levels.
I am working on a piece that is monumental for the South Asian community. We are really setting a standard for South Asian actors and the youth to know that there is a place for South Asians in the musical theater space.
One day things will get better.
I think anyone that comes to this show will just be able to understand how it is so easy to embrace this dance and this music because, as I said before, the root of it is to build communities. So anyone that walks into that theater is going to be part of our Banging It community.
An invitation to join that community awaits you at La Jolla Playhouse. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.